Okay, we're all set. We just started this thing.
What is up, guys? Episode 3 of
I
Axios
think
Fux
it's
Podcast.
actually a 3, right? Yeah,
It's 3, right?
3. I think so. The first two, we start off with a boom. The first one, I don't know what I want to find out exactly what people liked about the first one so much. The first one so far got the most traction, for sure.
Well, on YouTube, because we pushed it on YouTube more.
We did. Yeah, because we didn't even have it set up on Spotify when we posted it the first time. We didn't have it set up by then.
We didn't. No. So we only pushed it on YouTube. I think the reason that one got the most views was because on all other platforms like Spotify, it doesn't show us how many views. And I think people have been listening on that one. I don't know where, because I've had a couple of people reach out about reviews too. They sent reviews, but I don't know where we find those.
Where they go? Wait, so let me ask you a question. If you're listening to a podcast, would you rather be visual or just audio?
Just audio. That's the point of a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I've been watching a lot of Joe Rogan and I watched a Mike Tyson one. Mike Tyson with Eminem, and visual is cool.
Yeah, I don't like Joe Rogan. Really? No, it's too mainstream. It's too like, I think that Joe Rogan, he has to cater to so many people's liking that it just it's not good anymore to me. Like, I like those people that, like, maybe not many people know, like the Tates. You know what I mean?
It's not fully agreeing with everyone, like in terms of, like, let's say
just
Nelk,
not real
dude,
life.
if you look at Nelk, dude, like their videos, the production is amazing, but the videos as of recent are not as they were before.
Really?
They're not actually authentic. Yeah, dude, if you watch the last one, it's like not even, I'm like, it's like really not even funny.
Well, they have a podcast now. Are you talking about their podcast?
Kind of everything. Now everything. I mean, the podcast is good, but I don't know.
Yeah, because when you have to cater to such masses, things get watered down. Things get watered down. You know what I mean? And I think that, that's necessary for them. But that can be a downfall to getting too big. And I heard the other day is that for Joe Rogan, they're going to try to, I don't know if you know who Alex Jones. Do you know him?
Sounds familiar.
So he is a very controversial figure, and they took him off every social media. So somebody was like, they're going to do the same thing to Joe Rogan because he's kind of holding his stance on a couple of things, which I don't know if that's true. I mean, I heard he got a big payday a couple of years, or what, like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago,
by Spotify,
$300 million or something. To take his YouTube to Spotify. Does he still do them on YouTube?
Yeah, dude, they get like 7 million views.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Dude, you got to look at Mike Tyson's. Mike Tyson's gets like 10 to 15 million. It's called like In the Hot Box
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like Mike.
I love
Tyson,
that one.
Mike Tyson. It's crazy when you see some of his videos when he's talking about when he used to be with like Cuss Otto, his first coach.
Yeah.
I think that's his name. He's just like a big baby. He just like cries, and he's like, and he's just like, I just don't know, how Cuss knew I was the one. And he just starts crying.
Dude, it's like he's that type of guy that he's like a gentle giant until like you say the wrong thing, and then he like rips your head off your shoulders.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's so true. What's crazy is that that in boxing is so necessary. Being able to flip that switch in boxing is so necessary. I was listening to Gervonta Davis, one of his interviews as well, and he said he's always had, an anger issue.
Yeah.
And it's so necessary in boxing, I think.
So necessary.
Because if you don't have that, then what he also said is that when he's had a couple he had one recent fight where he hit somebody in the back of their head, and it was called. The fight stopped. He hit somebody in the back of the head, and the fight stopped. But before it did, he threw some more punches, and they were like, Gervonta, like, did you feel like, oh, I have to take it easy on this person because I think I hit him in the back of the head? Which I don't know if you know this, but there's one case of this guy, I forget his name, but he got hit in the back of the head twice during a boxing match, and like 20 minutes later he was in the hospital. No, he wasn't. Dude, even worse, he became a vegetable, just a straight vegetable.
I think I've heard of this.
And he was like 27, 28 years old. But Gervonta, he was like, no. He's like, no, I can't let up. I will not let up because this guy's out to kill me. And I have to be out to kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that whole boxing, that whole thing is like nuts. I mean, do you watch like UFC or MMA, whatever it's called, whatever? I think it's just the UFC. Dude, they do some brutal stuff.
They do. I mean, I remember.
I've never seen stuff like that.
I remember used to watching like cage, like people fight in the cage, and I would think, dude, like I feel like so bad for them. Like they're just like, this is like straight up craziness. But
it's the closest thing to like fighting in the Coliseum, like gladiators.
Right.
It's like being a gladiator.
You know what's funny is that I was asking myself this just to myself the other day, like how fearless I used to be. Zero skills in high school.
Yeah, I remember this.
Zero skills, and I was just so fearless. Like it's the mentality that you're willing to. You don't care. You don't care if you die. You don't care if if you get in a fight, right? So this isn't if for all of you guys listening, this isn't like, oh, Christians, like, you don't care if you die. It's more of like you don't care if you're going to die if it's in a honorable way, right? And that is how I think that in a lot of generations, men have been like almost brought up to think because they had to go to war, and they were faced with so many times where they had to be okay with this because otherwise they'd go crazy. If you aren't okay with dying, and because there is some positive out of it, like you're going to die today or you're not going to come back, let's say during World War II or World War I, like if you can have this mentality of in heaven, you're going to have this life that you can look back on that was honorable. That's something you're getting in return. So you're not exchanging your life for nothing. You're exchanging it for a bigger purpose. You're going to have your family safe, or you're going to be able to go and look back on your life when you're in heaven, and you maybe get the riches in heaven or whatever you want in heaven because you died an honorable death, right?
Dude, you gotta sat down with an old man, dude. He was drinking. It was awesome. I showed up at his house. It was 10 a.m. a couple weeks ago. I think I told you about this. Showed up to his house. I come in. He's a very vulgar guy, maybe 80s, mid 80s. And first thing he does, he goes, Vinny, do you want a drink? And I go, yeah, I'll take he's like, you want a coffee or something
Do you want
else?
a Budweiser?
Yeah, he goes, do you want a coffee or you want a Budweiser? I go, I'll just take a coffee. Like, I'm not going to drink I don't drink Budweiser, number one, and I don't really drink too much myself. But so he makes me a coffee, and then
at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m.
10 a.m. And then he cracks open. He grabs a bag and he has a whole thing of Budweisers. Cracks open a Budweiser, and he goes, Vinny, you know what's the problem with this country? And I go, what? And I get called Vinny, and when it comes to work, just a little easier. And he goes, they got rid of the draft. They got rid of the draft.
Oh, wow.
So no longer being forced into the military. So kind of what you're saying a little bit. Like, if everyone threw that, I mean, I've never had experience in it, but anyone who's in the military, I'm sure those people seem to come out on the other side a little bit better, at least.
I think some people, even in the military, though, like they'll go in it and then they're waiting to get out.
Yeah, because it's different. I think it's probably a lot different nowadays.
It's probably a lot.
It's a different scene. I mean, this guy served in the Vietnam War, whatever other war, and he was actually.
I don't know. I don't know what we're like really fighting for right now.
No, it's more civil. Like, well,
you know what I mean?
Side.
Like if you go into the military tomorrow, do you know what you're fighting for? Or are you just going in for the benefits? Are you going in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do not know
I
the
don't
first
know.
thing about that.
I don't know.
Hopefully somebody can whatever.
I think it's I think it's just to provide. It seems like just to provide more reinforcement to what is already owned by the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Reinforcement to protect what's already owned by the U.S. I mean, back in the day, it was to conquer or to stop, something from happening, like the Iraq War or whatever. When people were in Iraq or Afghanistan, it's no longer the focal point. Now we're talking about an in-house disease or virus that everyone's dealing with. So that's the fight.
Right. What'd be cool is to have somebody who's in the military come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Tell us
I want
what's
to hear
going
their
on.
viewpoints.
What's going on and wherever we are located. Another thing is I know with that movie of the Battle of Thermopylae with 300 Spartans, that was the one, right?
Yeah.
Battle of Thermopylae. I don't know for sure, but I know Stefano would know. But I know that they would say tonight, men tonight we dine in hell,
Yeah.
and there was
it's like
glory
a good thing.
in that. There was happiness. There was like, let's go run into these people and
die.
If we die, good. Good.
Yeah, there's more honor in it. There's more honor in
so much honor. And that's why I think when I don't know how we got to this, but I think that idea that life could end at any point, and that you're willing to, and that you're living every moment with honor, and you're doing the right thing with ethics. There's so much glory to that. There's so much honor with that, as long as you're fighting for something bigger than yourself. So let's say it's to reach financial freedom. Let's say you're just a real estate agent. How are you going to build purpose within your life so that you can be okay going and making phone calls every day? How can you relate it to you are going to battle for your family for a bigger cause?
Yeah, dude. I mean, did you get that Reddit thing I sent you yesterday?
You sent me one today.
Oh, I didn't send you one from yesterday, dude. This was crazy, bro. And this was like a nut situation. I was looking something up and this popped up, and it was, dude, Reddit is an addiction, in my opinion.
So just so you guys know, Vasily got rid of social media yesterday, and now he has a Reddit addiction.
I ask, dude, any question I want to ask.
Dude, I've never even used Reddit. Everyone talks about it, though. Dude,
look up any question like, why is the sky blue, or any of these things, and you actually get, an actual regular person, not a scientist or something like that, telling you why. Like, this is what this guy. I looked up like big.
I like when they're not trying to sound smart.
Yeah, and this wasn't smart. This guy was my regrets as a 46-year-old and advice to others at a crossroad, right? And he was just talking about, up until he was 20 years old, he was actually like living a life where he was doing what he wanted to do, right? Until he's 20 years old. And then after 20 years old, he got stuck in the idea of playing everything safe. And then ended up finding out when he's 46 years old, his wife has been cheating on him for the last 10 years.
Oh my God.
Because he's been so deep in just the day-to-day mundane life that he got cheated on for the last 10 years. He hasn't traveled to any other place since he was 20 years old. It's been 26 years. And he had all these ideas at 20 years old where he's going to travel the world and experience things. And for 26 years straight, he did the same thing. And dude, that's my biggest fear. That's
horrific. That is horrific. Oops.
Dude, that's a nightmare. I think this is honestly a good topic.
That is a good topic. In terms of I think that's a great topic. Yeah, because here's the thing. Here's what I was thinking, right? If you're not willing to see a lot of people want to play it safe right now. Let's say you're in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s, right? whatever age range you're at, it will never be easier to take a risk than it is now. And reason being is because if you're 18, imagine, let's say you're 20. It will be so much easier to risk your 20 to 25 than it will be to risk your 25 to 30. If you're 40, it will always be easier to risk your 40 to 45 than it will to risk your 45 to 50.
50. Yeah.
So
it's just
that's
simple.
why, it's very, very simple. And one thing that I have been thinking about lately, because I asked myself, why did I move to Florida? Like, I had my license in Massachusetts. I could have continued to make money. I got some sales out. I know people in Massachusetts. I would have had a such easier time. This would have been, I mean, dude, like all the crap that I went through, I wouldn't have gone through any of that. None of it. I had my license already. So I could have just continued to sell, got a spot, had a blast, going to Boston, drink some beers, whatever, right? But then I remembered that my goal wasn't to be secure. My goal was not even to have a good job or to have X amount of money. My goal has always been power and freedom. And power is freedom. Power is your ability to control where your life is headed. That's what power is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you have the ability to be free, meaning you can get up and go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want, then that is power. I mean, I think in my eyes.
Dude, it's an amazing, dude, and think about it. Like, all you need to do, and the problem with it is figuring out what avenue to take. So you have a couple different avenues. I told you this discussion I had with this guy who makes like 30,000 passively off some sort of crypto thing, right?
Yep.
So you have the digital way, you have the owning properties way, which the owning properties way, like, the only downfall, it's guaranteed for the most part, but the only downfall is to make $30,000 a month passively, you got to own a lot of units.
Yeah. That's why Grant says only buy if you can buy 16 units or more.
Yeah. And so that's the thing, dude. It's like the regretting thing is probably the scariest thing. There's nothing scarier than that. There's nothing. I don't find there to be anything scarier.
Especially because you can't draw the lines looking forward, only looking back. So when you look back, like this guy, he's probably looking back and he's saying, dude, if I just traveled or did whatever I want from 20 to 35, I'd be in the same position I am today.
Yeah.
Except with having had a better life. You know what I mean?
He's miserable, dude. Like, I was reading this and I was like, oh my God. Like, this is really bad. Like, he didn't go see, the idea was he never even saw his dad when he was dying because he was waiting to get a promotion, and his dad died.
Oh my God.
And his promotion's like only 2%. You know how that all works. And so yeah, dude, it's the big regret game is.
You can go.
You can go. You're good.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, another thing that people like, typically society doesn't give you, like, people permission to do, is to just go all in on themselves. Imagine if through high school, the whole premise of school was to build the person up, actual skills that are valuable in the real world, and self-esteem, and just instilling in them that you don't have to worry about your family. You don't have to worry about your responsibilities. You will never have less responsibilities than you have today, and you will never be able to risk easier these years than right now. The years in front of you will never be easier to risk than they are right now, because there's one thing that's true, is that you will never be younger than you are today, but you are also the oldest you've ever been today. So the thing is that if that was the case, I think people would maybe I don't think it's meant for everyone. I think that's where it kind of goes to, is that I think what do they say? Some people just don't want to be a cog in the wheel, but unfortunately, I think it's capable for everyone to not be a cog in the wheel, but like I think that it's required that some people, like, I mean, not everyone
Dude,
can,
it's
not
a
everyone's willing
viewpoint.
to.
It's a viewpoint because the thing is, it's like dude, it's such a viewpoint, dude. There's like no right and there's no wrong with it because someone could be someone could have risked everything up until they're 40 years old, and now they're 45 years old, and they look at what their situation is and they have nothing, right? And they could have been like, oh, I wish I didn't risk things. Then there's also the
Exactly.
regret. But then there's the regret at 50 years old, and they're like, I wish I risked everything because my life is boring either way. So it's like
Yes.
it's a difficult thing because I can see why people get hung up, but it's also when you think about you're only going to live once, and everyone, like for the people that work, everyone lives a very similar life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
And
mean, if I were to look back on, my last 5 years from, let's say, 19 to 25, let's say the Christian that was super studious, square, and whatever else,
square,
I don't know.
a fucking
Just,
square.
I probably would have been shipping out. I mean, even that's pretty different from normal. But if I were to like trade my last 6 years for having a secure job, 9 to 5, owning a house in Massachusetts, just living in it, probably having a relationship, and right now be watching some Netflix snow movie because it's snowy up there, like,
Yeah.
and not have done anything that I've done in the past 6 years, I wouldn't have any perception as to the idea of my life today. The idea of my
So
life
what do
today
you?
is so vast. It's like I'm a baby. But that other perception, like I wouldn't. It's just such a weird concept to think about. Like if I did go that path,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would. My
Let
perception
me
of
ask
the
you this
world would
opinion.
just be so different. Yeah.
Let's say 19-year-old you, prior to you starting what you started, looked at you now. What would they think of your journey? Would they be like,
That's a great
wow,
question.
is that really cool? Or, that's not really interesting? Or before you even moved to Cali?
Oh, before I moved to Cali,
That's what I'm saying. Before, let's say the 19-year-old you,
dude,
before
I
you
would
even
be
were
like,
shown
dude, that
Cali.
is unbelievable. You've had so many ups and so many downs. Like, dude, you've experienced more life in the past 6 years. You've been broke, you've been rich, you've been not rich, but made good money. You've been broke, you've made good money, you've had the worst credit, you've had great credit, you've been in like a great relationship, you've been in bad relationships, you've been in, you've traveled, you've lived in like multiple states, you've traveled, you've been on a private jet multiple times, you've driven nice cars, driven Lambos, met amazing people, traveled to Greece on your own dime, like all these different things.
Thailand. Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't have ever guessed that I would have been able to do that.
Well, would
but
you have looked at
now,
it as cool? Would you have looked at it as like, let's just think
so
about
cool.
someone who's 19. You think you would have thought it was cool?
Oh,
or would you
so
thought it's
freaking
like
cool.
impractical or it's not practical?
I would be like, dude, this dude is out of the matrix, like completely. Like this dude does not care what society is
You were
trying
thinking
to
this way?
limit him. No, I'm saying, well, if I saw like a replay of my life ahead of me or somebody else's, I'd be like, dude, I would go through that. I would do that.
You think so?
Because
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because if I looked at my 19-year-old self in the eyes, it would just be like, dude, this dude is like a 40-year-old living in a 25-year-old's body. Like he's just experienced so much life.
Yeah.
I think that's what life's about. I think life's about that. Versus if my 25-year-old self had been, working in a job for 6 years, I'd definitely I wouldn't have the motivation or the vast perception of life that I do. Having reached, oh my gosh.
What is your girls hitting you up?
No, it was a Zillow lead.
Oh.
So I wouldn't have had that type of perception as I do. It's a crazy thing to think about, but
that's a good, dude. It's a good question to think about. I don't know.
Those years, you can't. I really don't think that you can. What's the word? Okay, this is really important. I don't think you can skimp yourself on those years. I think they're required for entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
The highs and the lows.
Dude.
What?
Yeah, for me, it started at 17. So from yeah, dude. I mean,
I don't think you can skimp yourself. I do not think you can skimp yourself. If you do try to, well, you need to go through that. You need to go through that if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. There's no way around it. You will face those difficulties at one point or another.
Yeah, and this is the thing too. It's like the only reason why I think when you're going through such a tough time from let's say 17 to 25, let's say I was 17, and you're looking at it as like, dude, this is a bunch of BS, is because you have those people on social media who hit it big in one night, the anomalies.
No one hit it big in one night, unless you're talking about these crypto millionaires.
This is what I mean, and that's what's caused me frustration before. But then I realized, dude, it's like the majority of people who do get wealthy and stay wealthy are those people who had a rough time from, let's say, 17 or 18 or whenever they started in entrepreneurship, for a good 10 years. It probably sucked.
Yeah,
so
I mean, and that's like winning the lottery. I mean, in the history of America, like there's been lottery winners.
Yeah, so that's what I think.
And they lose the money in 2 years.
I think that's what brings me down to earth, where it's like, okay, dude, the truth is, the reality of it is, people don't usually make it that way, or like 99% of the time they don't make it that way. But those are the people that seem to make such a big, loud noise because it's like the get rich in 24 hours type thing. So it looks a lot bigger than it actually is. Where instead it's like you have people like, let's say, Grant Cardone, Andy Frisella. They started at such a low point, and it was so low for like, dude, they didn't even have any highs. A lot of them didn't have any highs, and they kept on doing it. That's what's even crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you never know because there was no social media.
Yeah, they've talked. I mean, like, let's say Andy Frisella for the first 10 years.
I could say the last 6 years, like, have completely sucked ass, and I would just work my ass off, but that wouldn't be true.
Yeah, but like literally, I'm saying like the amount they made in profit in their first 10 years of business was, I think, a total of like $80,000.
Yeah, but like this is so out of context. Like, how many hours were they working? Like, or are you just like a terrible salesperson?
Probably a terrible salesperson. I don't know.
Well, then
they owned a
because I have heard that story, but I don't think that's honorable.
It's not honorable. But it's the reality of, I think, how things work sometimes. I don't think it's honorable.
Right. I don't see the person who got rich in 2 years any lesser honorable or like any lesser than the person who made it in 10 years.
No, I agree with you. But I'm saying more practical. Statistically speaking, how many people does it take 10 years to get rich compared to 2 years?
Yeah, I think actually
higher number.
Yeah. I think
that's what I'm saying.
The numbers are crazy. I think that the numbers are completely against you. I think one out of what, 10 or 5 businesses fail within the first year, and then within 5 years, like a percentage of those even are not around.
Yeah.
So I
So
think
basically what I'm
that's
saying
very true.
is like, I think it's not about honorable. I'm not talking about what's honorable, what's not honorable. I'm talking about if you're going through a period of 5 or 6 years that's really rough,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to kind of, at that point, I wouldn't say compare, but somewhat compare yourself to the reality of what it typically has taken for other people. And
Yeah.
that would bring me comfort knowing that, okay,
Why are
it
you
doesn't happen
looking
the
for
first 6
comfort
years.
though?
Because if it's so rough, dude, if there's 6 years, let's just say the story of Andy Frisella, if there's 6 years of no growth, you're going to start thinking, why the hell am I doing this? 6 years. Imagine
I
6
just
years of
think,
no
yeah,
growth.
I can't imagine 6 years in the growth because that just doesn't sound like you're doing the right thing.
They probably weren't, but I mean, you're only going to find out the right thing a lot of the times by taking actions and figuring out what is the right thing. So year 10, they took it, or year 8 or year 9, they took a specific action and it worked. And then
Mm-hmm.
from there, it was free flowing. So what I'm saying is, like,
Yeah, no, I get that. No, I think that's cool. I just think that a lot of people they hear this information and it's almost like to justify why they're not taking certain actions that they know they should, but they're just
well,
not.
that's what I'm saying. Well, it's if they know they should be taking it, okay, that's a different story. But if they genuinely don't know, if they don't know, like, I mean,
But I think everyone
let's
knows
say,
what they should be doing.
yeah, but like, let's say, for example, in terms of
Business is
prospecting,
very simple. Business is very simple.
it is, it
You
is.
make a
But let
sale.
me
You
just,
make a sale, you know?
yeah, I'm just saying in terms of like, okay, if you continuously are just on the phones, right? There's only so many appointments, so many properties you can list, or so many um, buyers you can help out, right? Let's just say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing this, there's so much revenue that's coming in, or so much that you're grossing. And if you don't know, what is the point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is, why do you see so many people, unless it's by choice, why do you see so many people that hit a point of doing well and they still don't hire people to expand it?
Because they're afraid. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
afraid. Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think I don't like hearing stories about, I think it's just like a cop out whenever people mention stories like that. Oh, like, and I really don't know why somebody like, the reason that he says that, in my opinion, is it's a brag. It's a flex. Hey, my pain tolerance is higher than yours. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's, in my opinion, that's all he's doing. He's
Yeah.
flexing. And really, no one who really has something needs to flex.
Yeah.
If you have money, you don't have to tell people. Jeff Bezos doesn't walk into a room flashing his account. Everyone knows this dude's the richest guy in the world,
Of
right? The
course.
person
Yeah.
that is the best fighter does not have to tell everyone he's the best fighter. The
Yeah.
person
He
that's
puts
the
it.
most
Yeah.
honest, doesn't have to say they're the most. It's like the opposite happens. But why is he saying, guys, it took me 8 years. I didn't see $1. Let's say that was the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
what do you, this is, you're giving people a cop out to not see results for 8 years. Like, I don't see what is this? Like, because to me, even though I could say something similar, dude, like, there's different ways that people hear it. And I think it probably
You can
benefits
view it
some
a different
people,
way.
but you can view it a
Yeah.
different way. Because to me, all I hear when I hear that is somebody trying to flex what their pain tolerance is like, oh, I went 8 years without seeing $1 or making $80,000. Like, look at me. Like, I went through that and I lived paycheck to paycheck for that long. It's like, to me, it's like, okay, well, so, I mean, I that's all I see it as a flex.
No, I see what you're saying. I think how at least I comprehend what he's stating is
Mm-hmm.
that don't expect to blow up so quick because if you expect to blow up so quick, you're going to give up so quick. So if things are tough, dude,
but somebody like Ed Milet, he has a different training style where he says, keep your goals in the forefront of your mind. And the closer that you think those goals are, the more action you're taking. He says that the closer that your goals feel and that you think that they are, the more action you'll take. If you think, oh, I might have to go 8 years with making, $10,000 in profit a year, dude, you're going to be laxing. You're not going to do everything you can. But if you think that, hey, this could pop off any day this is going to pop off, which is how I live my life. That's why I move when I do. That's why I take action and take a lot of immediate, make decisions immediately, is because not because I think, if I could see the road ahead of me and I thought that in the next 2 years, I'm only going to make $20,000 a year, I wouldn't be doing this. It wouldn't even make sense.
No, of course. Well, I would find something else. I
wouldn't be motivated.
You're taking it though as if it was certain, or that he knew it was going to be poor. This is from someone who doesn't think it's going to be poor, but it's not getting. Let's say it's year 5, and you plan to by year 5 be flying on private jets, and you're not flying on private jets yet. At that point, dude, a lot of people.
It's almost like
if they're not.
You could go. Sorry.
If they're not flying on private jets by then, they're gonna feel pretty let down, and it's like a failed purpose.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Well, it's just a wrong estimation of effort.
Well, is it though? Because some people can pop off in a couple of years.
It is.
It's one move. It can be one move. It can be one move. One move that changes everything.
Yeah, but it has to be, you have to know what move that is. And I think the only way you know what move that is if you've taken enough moves to have that be an option.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So what if it takes 7 years to find that right move? What if it takes 7 years?
Right, but
to find that action.
It's not. I think it could.
Yeah.
But I think the point is I think you have to hold that goal right in front of, like, forefront of your mind, like it's going to happen tomorrow, every day.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's right to expect it to take 8 to 10 years, but I'm saying if it came to the point where it's year 7 and you don't have what you want,
you continue going.
And that's what I'm trying to kind of say, because comes year 7 after you telling yourself after year 5 I was going to fly private jets, a lot of people, I think, would probably stop taking the amount of effort that they would have from year 1 to 4 planning on year 5 to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were planning within 5 years to blow up, but it's actually year 7 now, on year 7, they're probably slowing down a little bit. Because
possibly, but I think
point.
Yeah, no, I think possibly. I think also that you don't have to tell somebody to continue going if they're the people that are going to already continue going. You got to love the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that, like, for me, for example, like, I think about quitting, but I would never actually quit. I'll talk about quitting. I'll think about quitting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I love the game too much. Game being entrepreneurship, the game being that, life is nothing better than the suffering that or just like the suffering that you go through. Like it's not gonna, it actually doesn't get any better. Like, this is actually
it's the best
life. This is actually the best part. I think
that's a good point.
I think that's the reality of it. Like, this is actually the fun shit that you're gonna look back on and really be proud of. It's not gonna be the easy shit.
No, I agree with you.
So if you love the game, you don't need somebody telling you, hey, this is gonna take another 5 years. It's like, dude, like, that kind of, I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't say it's gonna take another 5 years. But if it does take another 5 years, doesn't mean you have the right to give up after year 5. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that just does not calculate in my brain because I always think that my goals are going to be achieved tonight, tomorrow, within the next 10 minutes. And that's what pulls me towards it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a more, some people view it as like a compounding type thing. Let's just say someone is trying to retire. Let's say someone is trying to retire by the age of 30. So they need X amount of dollars in passive income coming in, right? And they work a 9-to-5 job, and they're saving to the T the most they could possibly save without and not living.
Well, no one really gets wealthy by saving.
I mean, you can't say no one. There's some people. I mean, the thing is, we got to figure out what is wealthy. What is wealthy to someone? Because I think wealthy could be different in terms of, is it money, or is it wealthy in terms of you have a wealth amount, or you have a massive amount of time to do what you want to do, or is it something else? So what I'm stating is, though, if someone is going to, let's say someone's working a 9-to-5 job and they can only save $10,000 a year, and they don't have the idea of possibly getting into another industry where they can make more money, and that's what they're set on. I'm going to save $10,000 a year for the next 10 years, and then I'm going to have $100,000, and I'm going to buy this X amount of unit property, and from there, once I buy it, I no longer have to work, right? So I think that's how a lot of people's mind. I wouldn't say the average person, because the average person still wouldn't think like that, but I think that's what I think that's what like a dad would think about.
Probably, you're probably right.
Because it's like, I mean, he's really good at saving. He's really good at saving. And whenever he spent money, he was evaluating, how much he still had, so he knew what to save. So in 5 years, he could get whatever he was looking for. I don't think he was ever looking to blow up, overnight. He was working, scrubbing, right when he moved here, scrubbing like kitchens over in Quincy for years, from like, sun up to sundown. And I don't think at that point you're expecting to blow up. You're not expecting to blow up for a while. You're probably doing it in the way that 1 + 1 = 2 and just compound until you get to the point where you're guaranteed to blow up. Talk about guaranteed blowing up. The guarantee.
What was that?
Like the guarantee of blowing up. The guarantee. So like you're talking about, in your eyes, you're looking to get X amount of people in your revenue, or under you, or whatever it may be, to the point where you're guaranteed to be bring in X amount of dollars every single month, right?
Yeah, I know exactly.
And there's like, and you have specific actions you're doing to compound. It's like every month I have to get 2 people. Every single month I'm getting 2 people. After 2 people for the next 12 months, I'll have 24 people. They bring on this many people, and that's just how it works. That's like more of a
systematic approach, kind of.
Systematic approach, yeah, like a certain way of doing something.
Yeah. So I don't even think like that. Honestly, I don't think about it like that. I think about it just from moment to moment, the action that I'm taking. So if it's during the day and I'm not at a showing, or I'm not at a listing appointment, then I have to be making calls. If it's at night and I'm on my phone, I have to be, like on, some type of dating app or something, right? So
yeah, of course.
It's just, I just take my life like moment to moment. If it's in the morning, I'm listening to an audiobook, right? So like, I don't think of it in terms of that. Because I don't like living like that personally. But I think if you
live like that, so that's why it's coming from my viewpoint, where it's like, dude, I have a set amount of people I talk to every single day, in hopes that it's going to compound. Like I know what number I need to hit I know a number every day I need to hit to get, whatever X is. Let's say it's income. I know exactly what it's going to take for me. And I do like that. It's not fun, dude, because it's like when I really don't want to do it, I'm doing it just to hit that number.
Yeah, no, I like to
I
keep
mean,
my schedule super open, because that's how I have my, like, how I can create some enjoyment out of it. So there's clearly different ways to do it. But yeah, no, I just take moment by moment. I mean, I just woke up from a nap and now, we're doing this podcast. So it's not like,
yeah, dude, that's freedom. That's a version of freedom, dude. I agree with that, and it's like it's it makes it
and
a
like
little
next
more
month, I mean,
enjoyable.
so much more enjoyable. Like next month,
Yeah,
what we might go on a trip,
yeah,
that's how I like to, I mean, I was even thinking last night when we were talking about going on a trip to Romania, hey, like, what if I stay there for 4 months? Would anyone tell me I can't do that? No, there's
that's
not
dude,
one person.
that's
My
yeah,
apartment lease ends, so they're not going to ask me for
uh-huh.
money. My car, I could just park at, I don't know, somewhere down here and
Mm-hmm.
pay my little car payment. And then that's it. And then I can stay there actually for 4 months and build
Yeah.
my organization, continue to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be anyone to stop me? No, because I just
No.
probably, anyone that would try to stop me, I wouldn't tell them until I'm there. Until I'm there. That's how I live my
Yeah.
life. And the same thing for, like, I was thinking about, okay, for South America, okay, if I went and, me and Vasily travel there, and then, it's the day that we leave, and I'm just like, Vasily, I'll see you later. And then you're just like,
Yeah, I'm
what are you
staying
talking
here.
about? Oh, well, I'm actually I'm going to stay here for like one more week. And then I stay there for a
Yeah.
month or 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That,
dude. That's how it's I think, dude, I think that's the correct way to live. I don't know if it's everyone's gonna agree. I agree. I think that's probably the correct way to do it. How it's supposed to be. I think that's how it's supposed to be.
that's how all the cool movies that I watch that are at least, modern movies, that's how
Uh-huh.
all the cool movies are. The people, either they're running out
Yeah.
of the country because they have to, and they have to just escape,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Or they just decide, hey, I'm going to quit my job and then go and, like, live this lifestyle that, and don't get me wrong, I don't like the lifestyle where they're just broke, right? I like the lifestyle where they're living lavish, but they have the freedom, the power now to build their own business and wherever they're located, and travel and do all
Mhm.
these fun things.
Yeah. I think that's how it's supposed to be. I definitely think it's how it's supposed to be, but there's so compared people doing that compared to the people that aren't doing that is so large that it's hard to justify or justify why you're doing it. Even though
Yeah, you
I
got to be a
think I
little
know it's
crazy.
right. Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
I agree. I think so because you're gonna look around and who do you know personally who does that?
no one. I don't know anyone
No
who
one.
does that. Lives
Yeah.
in Romania.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. So it's like even though you know at the bottom of your heart it's the right thing to do, you look around and you're like,
Uh-huh.
no one else is doing it. Is this the right thing to do?
That's you
Just
leaving the
because
matrix.
they're,
That's you getting out of the matrix. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy, crazy
mm,
thing. It really
I
is.
agree.
And it's one of those things that, like, you can either be ripped out of it, or you can slowly, because you're gonna have to make your own decisions. So, like, for everyone listening, this is a moment by moment decision that you're making, that you are going away from the normal of what you know what everyone else is doing. One thing that Andrew Tate says, he says, when you see a person drive up to the gas station with a Lambo at 3 a.m. in the morning, and he gets out of the car, you don't think, oh, that person did well in school.
Yeah, I watched this. Yeah.
You think this person knows something I don't. And why is he here at
Facts.
3 a.m.? This dude's living life.
Yeah, dude, that's so facts.
You know what I mean?
It's
He's
so
living life
facts.
because it's 3 a.m. and he's supposed to be sleeping.
Yeah, he has work tomorrow morning.
He's supposed
Supposed
to
to
be
have work
getting
tomorrow.
ready for work tomorrow. And why does he look happy? And why is he getting a Red Bull?
Yeah, and why did to stay awake for so much longer? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like last night.
so
Like,
facts.
I posted a story and it was just like 8:30, and I was just getting an energy drink, It's like those times, those moments that I really do value the life that I live, because it's very free. It's very, very free.
Dude, that's pretty good. That is a good life, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It's like 8:30 because if it's anyone else, it's like, dude, I gotta go to bed in the next hour. Like I can't be
Yeah.
drinking an energy drink. Like,
So it makes life
yeah.
fun. It's like, dude, life is happening right now. Like your heart could blow up right in your chest right now. Any moment, blow up
Yeah,
right in
it's
your chest.
scary.
In what? In what? You
For
listened
what?
to somebody when they said, "Hey, you shouldn't drink energy drinks because they're bad for you." It's like, dude, do you realize that like all these things that people are telling you to be careful of are probably on the bottom of the list of main reasons that people die in a year. The main reasons that people die, I'm pretty sure, are from like drunk driving, from some type of heart disease, or something where it's because they don't
It's
work out,
drugs, dude. It's
right? Or
drugs.
drugs. You know,
Yeah.
it's not coronavirus. It's not
No, dude, it's not.
it's not going out and
Energy drinks.
energy drinks. It's not going out and having a good time. It's not having a pack of cigs once every time you're hanging out with
No,
your
it's
friends.
not.
It's not having a cigar. It's not these things that. But because there's so many rules in society, it'll make you think that everything's attached to this, to this, to this, to this, and you won't be successful if you do this, this, and this, and you'll
Yeah,
and you'll
once you
die
stop
if you do
doing
this,
one,
this, 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 this.
once you stop doing one bad habit, someone's gonna find another bad habit you do and start criticizing that. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, there's always something. It's like I don't smoke, dude. I used to. I mean, I did chewing tobacco for a while. I smoked a lot of weed at one point, and then when I got rid of both those things, then I was smoking Juul, and then everyone tells me
Mm-hmm.
that's bad too. And then I start doing like then too many energy drinks. They say that's a bad thing, and then they say you do Zyn, these little things, these little pouches. That's bad too. So it's like there's always going to be some sort of judgment, no matter what, in my opinion.
Yeah,
There's
my
always going
my
to be
biggest
something.
fear is not having one of those bad habits. My biggest fear is not living my life moment to moment with my choice at the forefront of my mind as to what I want to do with my time. And
Mm,
then number
mm,
two, is becoming a vegetable somehow.
yeah.
Just turning into a vegetable. Like let's say, whatever. I mean, I never want to be somebody else's burden. That's my number two.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything below that, like I don't do crazy things. I don't drink and drive. I don't do drugs. I don't, you know, get into bar fights. I don't do these stupid things.
Yeah.
So like, there's nothing really, but like the world will make you seem like, because you drink energy drinks at 8 p.m., you're more likely to not get enough rest. And therefore that's going to lead to long-term bad health, problems. And because of that, you're probably going to lose your job and then, get a divorce later on in life because you can no longer provide for your family. And, it's like everything is attached to be this life where actually it's like a corrupt thing because it
Yeah,
never
dude, it's
works
like,
anyways.
yeah. Yeah, dude, it's
Dude,
like
the
if you
average
can't
life
enjoy it,
sucks.
it does.
The
It's
average person's life
miserable.
sucks. So why are you telling me how to live my life when the average, like, to be this model like life when the average person's life sucks?
Yeah, dude, I mean, I would choose if someone said, "Hey, so you have to go fully back into the matrix and you have to go back to a job you really don't like, and you probably have to go to school and then come out with a degree you're not going to use, or go back living into the woods at primitive times and fending for myself and killing animals and eating them raw." I would choose
Mm-hmm.
second. I would choose the latter of the two.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I would probably choose just to go into. I would be like, okay, if I can't do anything, just send me in the front lines of the military. Just send me in the
yeah,
front lines of the military.
yeah, because I'm not
Just
playing games. Like
because
I'm not gonna
I
have
am
that boring
gonna
of a life.
exactly. I need that. I need that at this point in my life. I need to be at the front lines. If the nothing else, if I have to choose between a 9 to 5 or working at Amazon again and going on the front lines, I'm
That's
picking
the
the
front
front lines.
lines,
I'm getting
dude.
my AK and I am going and running at the enemy.
Yeah,
Because
dude, that's what I'm saying.
at the very least, I know that I didn't die packing boxes, scanning
Yeah,
boxes,
dude. And this is
scanning
all each his own,
boxes.
each of his own. Like, I mean, everyone has a different viewpoint, but I agree. Like, dude, I could not imagine. I couldn't imagine. It
No,
sounds so, it
so
sounds,
mundane.
yeah, and it sounds like it would kill me inside.
Yeah, I need at least, yeah.
Dude,
I
even
think
this
that's
cold weather,
crazy.
dude. I mean, me, dude. Like for me, I'm thinking like this cold weather and being in the Boston area already does damage. And then I
Oh
think
yeah,
of
you're
like,
trapped. Dude, you're like
and then
actually physically trapped in a warm place right now.
yeah, that's what I'm
You can't
saying.
go outside without feeling actually threatened for your survival.
So then you start adding in things like me having to go outside in the cold and go somewhere I really don't want to be at a time I really don't want to be at. Dude, I would shrivel. I would shrivel. I would
Yeah.
die. I would die off really quick myself. I can't deal with that. I can't. My tolerance for that's not it's not enough. I mean, I could probably do that down there. I'd be willing to, do that for a short period of time, but not in the cold weather. There's no way.
Yeah. No,
Zero.
that's tough. Well, honestly, for anyone who does that, you know, congratulations for having a job because most people don't have jobs. Not because they
Here's,
can't have a job, but because they don't want a job.
yeah, which yeah, dude, I mean, like now I watch 60 Minutes and it's one out of every seven jobs now compared to a couple years ago. One out of every seven jobs is remote. A couple years ago, it was one out of every 67.
That's
One out of
crazy.
67. It's now the remote typically.
Okay, awesome.
Dude,
I
dude,
think you want to
you
wrap it
want to
up.
wrap this up? Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, you guys, we'll go subscribe, like it. Um, just so we can continue. We're going to continue doing these, but drop below what you guys want us to talk about.
Only
And
if this
Christian, you
gets
have
at least 100 views.
yeah, come on, you guys. This is ridiculous. This is cheap. You have to you can you take clips out of that?
Yeah,
Can you take that clip and just because if this doesn't have 100 views, you guys are cheapos. So like
yeah, dude, that's just disrespectful.
it
Like my
is. It's
time is not worth
disrespectful.
like just you're listening to this while you're eating your Cheerios or something.
Yeah, like 3 seconds. At least get us the view, my man. Come on.
Just watch the ad. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Watch the advertisement.
Yeah. Shoot.
I
Okay,
would
Christian.
want
Well, I'll
to
get
know
this thing.
what ad pops up for this because there's been a lot of topics. Okay, Vasily,
Okay, dude. I'll
talk to you
yeah,
later.
but dude, I'll post this on there like right now, okay?
Cool.
Okay, dude. Talk to you later. Peace.
Okay, bye.